I'm here off of Wise Ferry Road, and much of what we're seeing are those down trees covering the roadways. Here behind me, if you can see, there's actually a very large tree covering both lanes. They haven't had this dumpster emptied in at least 2 weeks. And she's not the only customer complaining about the service. As you can see here behind me, roads are still being blocked by trash and debris everywhere. There's also down power lines, so they don't want you driving through here, they don't want you getting hurt, and they don't want you causing traffic. I did speak to the Smith County District Attorney Matt Bingham, who has released an audit of his office from 2013 to 2017. Now, what this audit is showing is all the incorrect dismissals and reductions filed by prosecutors. There are police cars parked outside the home. If I step over here, you can see there's actually a patrol car parked in the neighbor's driveway. There are multiple police officers out here still looking in people's yards, looking through the streets for this gunman that is still on the run. Yeah, well, despite so much loss to so many families, Van Zandt County did not get any financial assistance from the federal government. Now, that's because the tornado damage did not reach the amount of money required to get that help. You will also have to provide a supporting document. Now, that can include an expired Texas license or personal identification card, a voter registration card.
Spring is finally here.
Yes, and the sun is out, and East Texans are really excited about it. Today, I got to hit the streets to find out what you like the most about the season. It actually really is a lot of fun, and I think what makes it so fun is that you don't know what direction you're in. Like right now, we're sideways again and upside down at the same time.
Our top story tonight at 6, a stack of papers so high outlining big problems with the Smith County District Attorney's Office. This that you're looking at on your screen is a copy of an office audit just released today. In it, document after document of cases where protocol was broken. And these violations would have gone unnoticed if it wasn't for the DeBrett Black case. He's the man charged with killing State Trooper Damon Allen on Thanksgiving Day. A deeper look into his background revealed that Black was previously charged with assaulting a Smith County deputy. It's a charge that was reduced, allowing him back on the street. And now Black's charges were reduced without the signature of the district attorney, which is a big problem. And as we learn in today's audit, his case is just one of nearly 200 with missing signatures. CBS 19's Stephanie Esquivel has a look at what else the audit revealed. Well, Tashara, Mike, I just want to show you guys how hefty this file is. And there were a total of 173 incorrect dismissals and reductions filed by 9 different prosecutors. Per office policy, the paperwork filed by these ADAs needed to include the signature of Mr. Bingham or First Assistant District Attorney April Sykes. Now, Bingham says that policy is explained to all employees, but unfortunately, he believes some prosecutors purposefully ignored the rules. He tells me looking at the audit, 2 attorneys stand out.
There was 2 prosecutors whose dismissals were, 90% of what the others were, and that was Jacob Putman and Brian Giral. I think their numbers were in some years, and I have to go back and look at the audit, but they were very high.
Now, when you take a close look at documents, 3 people stand out. Jacob Putman with 48 incorrect dismissals or reductions, followed by Brian Giral, who had 47, and Jeff Wood, who had 42. Bingham tells me he spoke to both Wood and Giral about the discrepancies in spring of 2015. He says Wood resigned shortly after that conversation, but records show Giral filed at least 5 more incorrect dismissals after the warning. Now, Bingham tells me he also had a similar conversation with Jacob Putman in August of 2016. The audit shows Putman incorrectly filed at least 3 more dismissals or reductions, and in one case, he dismissed a felony charge against a man accused of beating his 9-year-old daughter. I spoke with the girl's mother, who tells me she feels her daughter didn't get the justice she deserved.
He chose not to defend her. This was her father. This is someone that she's always wanted to have contact with. And unfortunately, nothing was done. So now it actually falls on the family court.
Now, in addition to charges for beating his daughter, that man was also charged with misdemeanor for assaulting his partner during the same incident. Bingham says Putman did not prosecute the offender to the full extent of the law. I have reached out for comment from Mr. Putman. He released a statement that read in part, "As a seasoned prosecutor, it is never my habit to comment on or make statements about information until I have had a chance to thoroughly review it first. I will evaluate the information that was presented and make a statement about it at the appropriate time."
I heard all the windows just shatter, and then the walls were ripping up and it was deafening.
April 29, 2017, Charlotte Good was pulled out of her house by an EF4 tornado.
And then something hit me in the head so hard. It felt like my head was going to explode, and I thought, okay, I'm going to wake up with Jesus.
Her husband, Don Paul, was on shift at the Garland Fire Department. Unable to reach Charlotte, he says he knew something was wrong. That's when he contacted a neighbor who lived down the road.
He said, Don, a tornado has come through here, and it hit us very hard. He said half of his house was gone. He said, let me roll around the corner and see what I can see up there. And he came back on the phone and said, Don, your house is gone.
Don Paul rushed home but was never able to get there due to the down power lines and trees covering the road.
That's where the house was, right there. And I was found somewhere up in this area.
He says, thankfully, a family friend was able to pick Charlotte up and help her until he could get through.
I didn't have any broken bones other than my nose. I had lacerations, bruising.
It looked like she had been shot with a shotgun.
With Charlotte hurt, it wasn't until the next day that Don Paul saw the destruction for himself.
I was just in awe because there was no structure standing on here. Our whole house, the contents and everything that wasn't blown away, was just like it was rolled up and deposited.
But even the loss of their home was nothing compared to losing their son, Zach. The 23-year-old died exactly 18 months before that twister took their house.
Losing our son was way worse than losing all of our worldly possessions, because losing all of our worldly possessions is just stuff, but losing your son, it's part of you. It was like a piece of our heart went.
Charlotte says there is no doubt in her mind that Zach was looking over her that day.
This is when Don Paul found the dog.
Zach's dog, named Zane, also miraculously made it through, and the black pickup truck that once belonged to him was the only vehicle that wasn't completely destroyed that night.
A kind of running joke amongst his friends is he was here to save his mom, his dog, and his truck.
The family says Zach isn't the only angel that's helped them recover. Even strangers have stepped up to help them get back on their feet.
It was just so wonderful how the community pulled together and just helped others. And the majority of these people that helped, that drove up and offered their services, we didn't know. They were just strangers or Canton angels that came through and helped everyone.